Scotland target a home win, but they'll find Italy are no pushovers. My name's Mark. Let's talk rugby. Scotland versus Italy. It's at the Dam Health Stadium in Edinburgh. It's on Saturday, the 22nd of April. Kickoff is 4:45 BST. As always, let's start with a look at the teams. Home team Scotland. Backs are Raleigh, Grant, Thompson, Smith, McGee, Nelson and MacDonald. The forwards then Bartlett, Skeldon, Belisle, Conkle, Roberts, Macmillan, Malcolm, McLaughlin and Gallagher. Bench, Reddy, Young, Clark, Donaldson, Sinclair, Mattinson, Blacklock and Musgrove. The Italy team then, backs are Manuzzi, Muso, Solari, Migioni, Dinka, Madia and Stefan. Forwards Maris, Vicini, Guy, Fedrighi, Duca, Tunesi, Locatelli and Franco. The bench Stecca, Kasagi, Say, Gurioli, Ranucci, Baratin, Stevanin and Granzotto. Okay, so team news for Scotland. 4 changes to the starting team and 3 positional changes as well. Corian Grant is on the right wing up from the bench. Lisa Thompson moves to 13 as Merrill Smith is promoted to 12 from the bench as well. Mary MacDonald in at 9 as Caddy Mattison drops to the bench. Jade Conkle Roberts moves into the second row from 8. Evie Gallagher shifts from 7 to 8 to cover that position, and Rachel McLaughlin comes in at 7. Elodie Sinclair and Beth Blacklock come onto the bench. For Italy then, Sarah Tunisi moved to 6 for the injured Scorbini. Valeria Fedrighi is promoted from the bench into the second row. Vittoria Ostuni Minuzzi comes in at fullback for Capomaggi, and Francesca Granzotto comes onto the bench. So this is 11th ranked team versus 5th. So Italy, the higher ranked team, a lot of that has to do with their performance in the Women's World Cup last year, but they've shown in this Women's Six Nations so far that was not a flash in the pan. They are a much improved side, and they should be really the favourites for this game. How the teams have gone in their last game. So Scotland 51% possession and 48% territory against France in that 55-0 loss. They scored no points against France, so there's no points per 22 visit for them. Italy had 38% possession and 34% territory in their win over Ireland. They won 24-7. They scored 2.3 points per 22 visit. So, showing that they don't need to have a lion's share of possession or territory to get a win. Scotland so far in the Women's Six Nations first 2 rounds have made the most tackles with 590. Italy are second with 571. So these teams, they put in a big defensive shift, both of them, and they're kind of both used to having less possession and less territory. So it's going to be interesting when they come up against each other how that plays out. Eve Gallagher with 55 and Lala Skeldon with 54 are the top 2 tacklers in the tournament. Scorbini with 47, Duca 45 and Solari also 45 are in the top 8 overall. Chloe Raleigh has made the second most meters in the tournament with 368 meters with ball in hand, and Giordana Duca for Italy is the third for line-out takes with 13. Average possession for Scotland across the 3 games is 45% and territory 48%. That is the second lowest in the tournament, but the team with the lowest are Italy with 40% possession and 30% territory. So as I said, both of them used to having less ball and less territory. So who's going to want to dominate that is kind of interesting for Saturday. Scotland's scrum then has gone 83%, 67 and 80%. So kind of on average, the worst scrum in the Women's Six Nations so far, but there isn't that much between them and some of the other teams. Italy have conceded the most scrum penalties with 8. So, it's kind of interesting to see who's going to get on top in the scrum as well. And will Scotland be able to do what other teams have done and force penalties from that Italian scrum? Italy, though, have the joint most steals with 5 in the line-out so far, and that's joint with Wales. I think Scotland have maybe... Let me just check actually for a second. I do have it pulled up here. So let's see. Line out steals. Okay, Scotland have 2. So Italy probably will target the Scotland line out. We may see Scotland in turn trying to target that Italian scrum, but given that Scotland haven't gone so well in the scrum themselves, that's going to be a real battle between them. I think in terms of defence then, Scotland have tackled at 85% and Italy at 88%. So pretty good kind of pass marks for them. And I think whoever gets on top in that regard is probably going to win the game. In terms of what the camps have been saying, it's hard to get anything really out of the Italian side of things, unfortunately, because I go on to the Italian official website and their latest article is still about the match, like the match against Ireland. There's nothing, announcing for the team or anybody talking about stuff. So it'd be great to have that available. And I think as the Women's Six Nations progresses over the years, we will have that, and it'll be nice just to have comments from all the camps. But from the Scotland side of things, Helen Nelson's going to earn her 50th cap. Brian Eason, the head coach, had nice words for her, but he also said that this game is a chance for him to shake things up a little bit, and they've made some changes to the team with that in mind. Also, Emma Orr, who dropped out of the midfield, was concussed against France and so is not included. He thinks it's a really exciting back division that they've selected for this game. Obviously, he said they're not happy with the results so far and one or two aspects of their play. He compared Italy's style to France's in terms that they like to play open, expansive rugby. He said that it'll be nice to be at home for the next 2 games, and also said that the Women's Six Nations will get tighter, and professionalism takes time, and that is in response to the English head coach who was talking about how the Six Nations couldn't continue with England and France being the top 2 teams all the time, and the other teams not being competitive. But Easton has a different kind of take on that. He says that both England and France have been professional for much longer than the other teams, and over time, as professionalism beds in the other 4 nations, it will get tighter and more competitive. So, and I agree with him. I think that is what's going to happen. Now, all 4 nations have, all 4 of the other nations, as it were, have professional women's programs now. They still need a lot of work. I'd love to see a women's URC, for example, so that they could be playing at a high level and not have to go to England for their games, because a lot of these players do play in England. So it'd be nice to see that, to have the women's teams mirroring the men's URC teams maybe. So hopefully that's something that's in the pipeline. But in terms of this game then, I think, Scotland are definitely going to be targeting these 2 home games as a chance to get a win. But I think maybe that Italy again, they're going to be favourites for this one. And Italy, they really are a much improved side. They seem to be very comfortable having less of the ball, and they do kind of play a lot like France, like they wait for mistakes and then they pounce. They have really good support runners for people in attack, like we talked about Chloe Raleigh making all those meters. But you know, something that Scotland could definitely improve on is support for her when she makes breaks, so that it isn't just a case of either she has to break and make a try, score a try by herself, or she's going to get isolated and turned over and maybe a penalty to the opposition. And also Italy, their handling skills and their offloading, may prove the difference between these two teams. That support, those support lines, just I think across the board, I think probably better handling skills and just the offloading game as well. I think Scotland are going to find it difficult to live with that. And yeah, I think in terms of Scotland, they probably have a better chance when Ireland come to town in the final round, because I think Italy are going to take this one out.